Welcome to episode 203 of the No Crew Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Uh, All-Star Weekend has finished. Super Bowl has finished. So this is like our biggest break of the year as far as sports goes. Baseball is in free agency. Tennis isn't really doing anything right now. So um, let's recap the Super Bowl a little bit because we didn't talk about it. Um, Obviously, we don't have to talk too much about the game, what happened. By now, everyone's seen the game, everyone's seen halftime show. Um, let's talk about legacy in
Yeah.
terms of Mahomes. Where do you think this? What do you think this did for Mahomes long term?
Well, this killed any doubt that he can't eventually become the greatest quarterback of all time.
I agree with that for sure.
And you know what it really proved? Because I think there was very few people who doubted that at this point, even before the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
It proved that the Chiefs will keep him in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really impressed me. Like, man, last time they were in the Super Bowl, he was running for his life.
Right.
Now he's executing the game plan, no problem.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're upgrading his weapons change, yet he finds a way to, guys are open. The defense has gotten better. They had all these rookies I'd never seen before making plays.
They were second in the league in rookie snaps.
Yeah, and all these guys looked like vets. I mean, throughout their playoff run.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, Mahomes is insane. He's obviously one of the GOATs. I mean, really, Brady is his only comp already.
Yeah.
Just to prove how insane we're already like, when is he catching Tom? Can he catch Tom? Like, Jesus, this is fifth year.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I mean, I'm the Chiefs are a dynasty, clear and simple.
Yeah. I think that even now, just showing that, like, to your point, his greatness, he won't even have to win as many Super Bowls as Tom. To me, just the fact that he's going to be such a contender to get there every single year, just because he's on the team.
Yep.
Not even not the coach. It's not the rest of the players. I mean, don't get me wrong. Andy Reid is a big part of it, and the players are a big part of it. But I think that he's surpassed, like, his greatness has surpassed the rest of the team's greatness to the point where, to me, at this point, whatever team he's on has a chance to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And to
Uh,
be honest with you, man,
yeah,
like we're now seeing him, he literally can do anything that a quarterback has to do to win a game.
yeah,
Like he could
very
settle
true.
and play a boring game like this and win it, just execute, hit the open
Mm-hmm,
guys, know what's going on.
mm-hmm.
Or he could obviously win shootouts like he did last year with Josh Allen.
Yep,
I mean, with a bad ankle, he was picking up first downs, scrambling this entire playoff run.
yep, yep. He was.
I mean, he's flawless. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever, easily.
Yeah, yeah. It was great to watch, and even though the game was boring, it still had an intensity to, like, I really didn't know who was going to win. Um, it was competitive, so competitive,
Yeah.
and definitely the two best teams in the league this year. So,
Clear
um,
cut.
yeah, yeah. What about Jalen Hurts? How do you feel about Jalen Hurts after the Super Bowl? How do you feel about the Eagles?
Well,
What do you think
first of
about
all,
that?
he deserves like the bulk of the credit for why this game was competitive and you didn't know who was going to win.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if coming in you told me the Eagles defense would be garbage, I'd have been like,
Hmm.
wow, like Mahomes is going to be sitting in the fourth quarter.
Mahomes made them look non-existent, basically.
Yeah, and Andy Reid too. But
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
Andy Reid.
and Jalen Hurts gave them 7 free points and still was going toe to toe with Mahomes.
Still was in the game. Still, basically scoring whenever they really needed to.
And
Like if for
it's
some reason both teams look like they could just will themselves to the end zone anytime.
honestly, but to me, like with the Chiefs, it was very complete where like the plays were good. Kelsey
Yeah,
was great. Mahomes was
yeah,
great. The running game, Pacheco was great.
yeah.
With the Eagles, it wasn't the plays. It really wasn't the receivers. It wasn't the running
No.
game. It was
Hmm.
Jalen Hurts.
He was making huge throws. A lot of them were
Man.
risky, and they were just
Yes.
big plays. Yeah, he made big plays. He
And
did.
he had
He
to.
did.
Like, this was a game you couldn't take the safe option and go 3 and out and give Mahomes more possession time.
No, you couldn't.
And every
Couldn't.
time the Eagles kind of were losing momentum, kind of slipping out of the game, Hurts made a play. I mean, this
And you
was like
couldn't
as
give Mahomes
impressive.
good field position either.
Hurts improved his. You talk about legacy. I mean,
Yeah,
this was one of the biggest games he probably will ever play.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Man, I was just completely impressed.
Eagles definitely buy all the way into him, right? As much money as they can give him.
I mean, they have to. Like,
Yeah.
there's no questions about him now.
There isn't. He answered all of them. He answered
Literally,
all of them.
this.
He got better where they wanted him to get better. He did it
Yep.
all.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, he's shown no regression, only improvement.
Yeah.
That's the thing
That's a
with a
good
lot
point.
of the contenders, the guys who we've considered that could go toe to toe with Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like, their flaws still show from time to time.
Hmm.
It hurts literally every flaw I thought he had he's proven to me that it could be a strength this season.
Yeah. Yep. Great game. Great night. Uh,
And
two
these
great,
organizations
great,
are
great
set up to be
quarterbacks
successful.
for a long time too.
Mhm.
I mean, the Eagles is they're so young, so much younger than I think people even realize.
I know.
Uh, and
And then the
then
Chiefs got
have
crazy
like
draft picks.
crazy picks and crazy cap space, which is terrifying.
Dude, they're gonna be the fucking what the Patriots were when they got Randy Moss.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
gonna be a year or two where they get that.
yeah. It's coming. It's coming soon. Either this year or next year. Watch out. Some of the names that are out there.
Some guys will free
Careful.
up and whoops.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
DeAndre
might be
Hopkins is
crazy.
available last I checked, or he will be in the near future.
Yeah,
Good Lord. Like, I couldn't even watch.
yeah. Yeah, it might get really crazy. Because in football, there's not a lot of times where there's teams where you could say I'm gonna go win a championship. I'm gonna go win a Super Bowl with this team because it's just so up in the air. Um, like there's just no way to guarantee a trip to the Super Bowl in the NFL. Like in the NBA, you could say, oh yeah, obviously there's four All Stars on this team. We have a really good chance. We've seen a lot of football teams with a bunch of superstars on the team that just don't have a chance. But the Chiefs are a team that it doesn't really matter. Like whoever you are, if you want to go to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs is the place to do it.
I know.
So
You're playing like you're guaranteed your semifinal game is going to be at home.
yeah,
Like, how
every
fucking
year.
awesome is that? That you get to play the AFC Championship at home every year.
Yeah, yep, yep. And you're gonna have the best player in two different positions all the time. So at least
Yeah.
two positions every night. So
I will make a last
yep.
point about the Eagles. I'm interested to see if Nick Sirianni is really a good coach because he just lost his offensive and defensive coordinator.
Hmm.
So if they kind of repeat as one of the best teams, that'll be a
Yeah,
good proving point that he's legit also.
yeah, yeah, yep. I think I would imagine Hertz is very easy to work with offensively.
I mean,
because he's
Yeah.
so dynamic. He could do so many things. He takes the right risks. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I can imagine he's very easy to work with as an OC. What do you think about Bieniemy leaving the Chiefs though? I feel like that.
Yeah, for the Commanders.
I feel like that's a bigger story than people are making it
Yeah.
seem. I guess he's kind of gearing up for. I guess maybe being under Andy Reid puts a question mark on his coaching talent as a head coach. So maybe he wants to be somewhere where he gets more credit for what he does to get an opportunity to be a head coach. Because I feel like, yeah, feel like, well, you were with Andy Reid, like, um, that doesn't look as good on your resume because Andy Reid is so powerful as a coach. But what do you think about that? What do you think that means for the Chiefs? Does it worry you at all?
No, I think the Chiefs will be fine. I think Andy Reid is such a centerpiece to their play calling that I think they'll be
Yeah,
fine. I do think like the fact that it took this long for him to get the same job he just had
yeah,
is and it's not like Byron Leftwich also got fired just now.
right.
I'm looking at this. I just watched a defensive coordinator get exposed, and he's a
Mm-hmm.
head coach. He got
Right.
exposed and promoted.
Yeah. And Bieniemy's been consistently great and hasn't gotten
I
promoted
mean,
yet.
all these guys in the last several Super Bowls, all these coordinators like instantly get promoted.
Yeah.
And I'm not really mad at any of them, but a lot of the guys who've gotten promoted before Bieniemy have been exposed and are like moving
Right.
to new jobs.
Yeah. And he's never once have I watched them and question their offense. Not one single time.
And he has to move laterally.
To the worst team maybe in the
Yeah,
league.
obviously the situation's obviously where you were leaving the best situation. You were downgrading regardless if you were gonna continue to be an offensive coordinator.
I mean, like, had he moved to like the 49ers, I would say that was a pretty lateral. It's a downgrade, but it's pretty lateral because they're still really good. But going to like a team that is nowhere near going to the Super Bowl, maybe probably in like the rest of his tenure won't ever see the Super Bowl.
Dude, why
It's
would
just
you go to the
rough.
command? Honestly, any other team, I'm okay. The
Yeah,
Commanders are in the middle of like pure organizational turmoil.
they are.
I mean, Ron Rivera was a mess last year. They got all these good defensive players. They don't do shit.
Yeah,
It's always an undrafted guy that shines for them. Like, why is your drafting so garbage?
yeah. It's a good question. Good question.
And then
I
their
don't know,
owner
man.
is, I mean, their owner's about to be forced to sell.
Maybe he's thinking he will the head coaching job. Maybe they're just setting him up for it. It must be. It
Yeah,
has to be more to it. No matter what, it has to be more to it than just him just leaving the Super Bowl,
yeah,
like uh perennial Super Bowl contender to go to the
yeah.
Commanders, which
And
is
I
rough.
mean to look at it in a glass half full way, the same way I looked at Sirianni, if the Washington offense is top 10 this year,
Hmm.
I mean, he's like now we're looking at him, we didn't give him nearly enough credit.
Right.
And
Right.
especially like what happened with Dable in Buffalo. Imagine if the Chiefs offense slips.
Hmm.
So this could turn
That's what
out
I'm
interesting.
interested to see. I'd be surprised if they slip, but I am interested to
Right.
see if it
It's
does.
unlikely, but I do
Yeah,
think Bieniemy was a big part of their offense.
I do too. I do too. He seemed very, very involved. Um, as much or more involved than most other OCs that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will see about that. We don't know
How
where
you feel
Derek
about
Carr and
the
Aaron Rodgers are going
halftime
yet.
show?
I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, good
I don't have
halftime show.
anything to say. Nothing.
I'm curious to see who they get next.
They got to start paying them, man. I know that. This we're not paying you because you get enough exposure at the Super Bowl. If you're gonna like, it's like saying going to the car wash and say, "Hey, you guys are using water anyway. Just give me a bucket of water." Like, no, if you want me to wash your car, pay me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I think everyone should really think about what I just said in regards to the Super Bowl. If you're not gonna pay, you're only gonna get certain so much from people. So oh. Anyway, quarterback carousel is still underway. We don't know where guys are going yet. Still
I think
Rodgers and
Rodgers
Carr.
is Rodgers in the middle of his darkness retreat.
I guess so.
Wasn't I saw something about him going away for like he was talking about going away for a while
Bro,
to
I
make a decision.
don't know how ESPN lets him only talk to Pat McAfee. It's so bizarre to me. He won't talk to anyone else. He have like 40 shows on ESPN.
Well,
He
Pat
only talks
McAfee's
to one
like,
show.
I don't think he's ESPN anymore.
No? Is he
I'm pretty
Fox?
sure
Is
he's like
he
his
independent?
own. I think he's his own like just podcast or show now.
Man, that's still crazy. Like it's still crazy. He gives him all the exclusives. He doesn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, I mean
I know
Rodgers
Pat
is.
doesn't pay him. There's no way.
Uh, I mean those interviews, man. Like talk about it. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. Uh,
They probably don't want him on ESPN because he won't only talk about football.
Yeah, and
It's to go so deep
ESPN
into
actually
everything else.
exposes the nonsense he fucking does.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's him and Carr. There's a lot of spots they could contribute and like play well.
Ooh, FanDuel TV. That's what he's on. That's what it is.
Hmm.
Huh. Rogers probably has a cut in FanDuel. That's probably that would make sense. Pat McAfee, man, is hilarious. Anyway, what were you saying about
No,
you
I
said
think
Carr?
Rodgers and Carr. I think they're both. All the situations I've really seen are have a lot of upside.
Yeah, I think so too. I like that the Jets aren't so uh heavy into Rodgers like they seemed like they were going to be at first. When they first said that they were going to look for a quarterback, they acted like, oh, it's Rodgers, has to be Rodgers.
Hmm.
But it seemed like they've eased up to more being more open into it being Carr, into maybe just getting a draft pick. Um, so I like that about the Jets. I don't really like the Jets, but I think that's interesting. I was hoping they didn't just try to go all in on Rodgers and then just get disappointed by Rodgers because you never know what he's going to do.
He's liable to disappoint somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about him maybe going to the Raiders?
The reunion, it has to happen. The dynamic duo, they're both idiots for not figuring out a way to stay together. And I do think the Packers bear some responsibility. Uh, but clearly
It was
they
only a
missed
year,
each
right?
other. Yeah.
So if Rodgers goes there, it would seem that it was mostly on the Packers in that case to me, because it obviously wasn't a thing about them not wanting to play with each other at that point. If Rodgers is going to just follow him there anyway,
Hey, bro, they've
he knows
allowed
he's going to be the
Rodgers to like
number one
take
receiver,
over the organization.
right?
I mean, Rodgers runs like it's insane to me that Brady didn't get any kind of like pass or special privilege in New England for all those years. But
Hmm.
Rodgers like does whatever he wants.
Wherever he wants.
Just imagine Tom Brady being like, "Yo, I don't feel like going to training camp with all these young rookie receivers. or pre-training camp workouts. What do you mean?
Rodgers wouldn't do that. I mean, Brady wouldn't do that anyway because he's just more of a competitor than Rodgers is.
Dude, Brady was breaking COVID rules to work out with his Tampa Bay guys.
He was letting guys stay at his house. I
I
mean,
know. Dudes were
yeah.
literal menaces to society. We don't
Yeah,
need to get into who and why.
yeah,
But my God, like Rodgers is all about Aaron. It's like everything you see him on Pat McAfee, and it's like always about me.
yeah.
Aaron, you play the ultimate team sport. Why do I only hear you talk about me?
And the ultimate leader position and is not being a leader. There's like
And I know
no more leadership position in sports.
he does say team like correct things,
Yeah,
but they sound so hollow when every chance you get, you hold the Packers hostage.
right.
Bro, okay, they drafted a quarterback in the first round. That was like 5 years ago, Aaron.
And we still haven't seen him play like 3 straight games yet. Like,
Aaron is like the pettiest person on planet Earth over this Jordan Love draft pick.
and I've been dying to see what Jordan Love can actually do. We haven't seen it. So like
Yeah, man.
obviously they don't really care that much.
So I pray wherever Aaron is to start next
Mhm.
season, it's not the Green Bay Packers. Please.
Yeah.
Please, Green Bay, we cannot do this again.
Um yeah, I agree. I was trying to think if I care where he goes, but I don't want him to
And
be on the Packers either.
and they're
I don't
supposed to
really care
trade
where he
him,
goes.
right?
Yeah, I think for him it is gonna have to be a trade. Yeah.
So I'm interested, like, if I'm the Raiders, I don't want to give up a premier, like, or multiple premier weapons to get him.
Yeah.
Ideally, there'll probably be a ton of draft picks.
Yeah, I think it'll just be picks, whatever it is. But they have like, don't they have a certain time? See, football free agency and trade deadlines and stuff always throw me off. But don't they have
Mhm.
like a certain time where um, they can buy him out and just him
Yeah,
be a free agent as well? But they're just
yeah.
not doing that
I
yet,
just think
right?
his contract is big, so I think they'd rather trade him.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's like, again, he took a 2-year deal that was like really bad for their cap.
Hmm.
And then he turns around talking about like, I'm team first guy. Where, Aaron?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Tom
haven't seen
Brady,
that yet.
again, I hate to compare you to the GOAT, but Tom Brady was showing us the blueprint for 2 decades, and you haven't followed it once.
At once. And he compares himself to the GOAT, so
I
it's
know.
only fair that we do. So,
We should compare him
whatever.
to the GOAT. He's that talented.
He is. He is. He is. Um, all right, that's all I have for football. You have anything else?
Mhm. I mean, speaking of quarterback carousel, the Lamar Jackson situation is still in fucking limbo.
I hope he leaves, man. Go home to Miami. Get to it. Tua needs to go home.
I don't know
Lamar,
if the Ravens realize how unanimously hated they would be if they franchise tag him.
he won't sign it, right? I mean, that's what they're
Yeah,
saying. He's not going to sign it if they try.
I don't know if it's a matter of sign. He might choose not to play, but I think
Yeah,
it's like part of his deal that they could
it's in his
continue it.
deal.
I
Yeah,
think that's
for
how
the
rookie contracts work. I don't know. Again, it goes back to not knowing the free agency of the NFL well.
dang, he still is on his rookie contract. That's nuts.
It's nuts.
I heard someone say something about him not signing it if they're not going to commit to him. But um,
Yeah, I saw that he might choose not to play.
I hope he doesn't do that. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, man.
'Cause that never
That's more
works
of
out. I never agree with that.
we normally only see running backs like actually sitting out,
Hmm.
but to your point, it usually doesn't end well.
No, it doesn't. And football is such a short. Your career is already so short. It's like you don't have time to sit out a year. Like,
Football, you really can't miss. I mean, you see Deshaun Watson's a good example. He looked like he forgot how to play quarterback the first
yeah,
couple games. Like you just can't not play for such a long time and just get back into it.
right. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I hope he leaves, but I just hope it's resolved. Whatever it is, hope he gets his money because
Another guy, anywhere he goes, essentially is a contender.
yeah, especially now. I mean, the Ravens are like the only team he could go to that may not be a contender at this point.
Yeah, I
Everywhere
mean, I
else he
wouldn't.
goes, he'll be a contender.
I'd switch sides. I'd go to NFC if I could.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of talented options out there.
Yeah, there is. There is. Uh, Lamar on the Raiders would be nuts.
Whew. Bro, on the
That would be crazy.
Jets
The
with
Jets,
those young guys, how hungry they are after having a good year, having a lot of momentum.
bro.
Man,
Yeah, there's a lot of teams you could go to that would be instant contenders.
if I'm Josh Allen, I would cry if I had to play Lamar twice.
I know. A healthy Lamar twice. Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing the Falcons are trying to go all in on him, but I don't want that for him.
That's
I
probably
want to
actually.
enjoy.
I don't want any of the quarterbacks to go to Atlanta.
The Falcons is basically the exact same situation he's in to me. Like as far as the
Yeah,
talent wise, how hard guys play, them keeping good players, all that
yeah.
stuff.
So
Same.
correction: every other option except Atlanta would be a contender if Lamar went there.
Yeah. Every other option. Yeah.
It was literally Atlanta is so forgettable. I didn't even think of them as an option.
Yeah. They are forgettable, unfortunately. Shout out to the Falcons fans. All right, let's move on to the NBA. All-Star
Yes.
Weekend 2023, Utah, Karl Malone. John Stockton was even there. I thought John Stockton was banned from All-Star Weekend, but he made it. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention why. People can go look that up. Look up both of them. Um, what do you think, man? Well, let's start with the first day. You, I watched the celebrity game. I liked the Rising Stars challenge. What do you think of the Rising Stars, the tournament?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was competitive.
I think that I like. I mean, I know it can only be what one, two, like three games, but like time wise, I do wish we got to see like more of each player. But I do like that they go and they play hard. It is competitive. They have fun. They talk trash. Um, the G League guys being in there. I mean, G League Ignite being in there was pretty cool. Um, well, it was all G League guys, but those guys were pretty cool too. Oh, that was fun. The celebrity game was really fun. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I
Uh,
gotta be honest, dude, Alvarado's like inspirational.
he is, man.
I
That
mean,
was amazing. Everything he said,
undersized,
everything he did.
yeah, man, an undersized guard, like the way he plays as an undersized guard, uh,
Re-
I really like watching him.
Yeah. He
Even in
works
a
really
like a
hard.
Rising Stars game like this, man, he's just so competitive. It shines every time he's on the court.
And the thing is, he was so competitive, it was contagious, it was infectious to his team. Like it just shows you all you really need is one dude out there like that, and the
Yes.
rest of the team plays hard.
Yeah.
Because his team even played harder than I thought they would play just because he was out there playing hard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, man, Alvarado was the star of that first night, and he was great. Calling game, calling the shot to Donovan Mitchell was fire. Yeah, him and his daughter were great. I love seeing the NBA players with their kids every time. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Uh, that's always been a thing, but I think now it's just it's become so accepted. Like they just have a lot more fun with it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the announcers know the kids' names and everything. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
But
And
uh,
Friday's like such a great night for that,
it
with
is.
like the celebrity game and all the events going on and kind of the initiation of the weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the celebrity game was a great start, man. I feel like most of the people in this celebrity game look like they prepared for it.
yeah. That was really nice about it too. They looked like they were having fun, and they definitely looked like they really wanted to play in it too.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
even the Jimmy Kimmel's, the funny guy Guillermo, who obviously doesn't play basketball, even he made a couple of like he caught it and quickly passed it, tried to take a shot. When I'm like, all right, they're swinging him the ball, like they're actually
yeah.
playing basketball.
He got the wedgie in the rim,
Right,
but
right.
he took that was a real shot. So yeah,
And they
yeah.
limited kind of like there was an extended time that people who aren't good at basketball were out there.
It was definitely always a mix, always a
Yeah,
solid
so
mix.
I
Yeah.
just thought it was a good group. I'm not sure if the celebrity game is getting better,
Mhm.
but I think this was a really good group.
I think it's getting better because, and I mentioned this to you, I think it's getting better because of the fandom around it is getting more fun. Like the
Mm-hmm.
celebrities are coaching, like Lindsey Vonn was coaching. The celebrities are doing halftime stuff. There's more celebrities at the celebrity game. Like a couple years ago, celebrity game would be like at a different gym and no one knew where it was. It was at like a college gym while all this stuff was happening at a arena, and like no one was actually there. Like people were only there because they couldn't get tickets to the Rising Stars game. It was like
Yeah.
very sideshowy before.
Mm-hmm.
Now they felt really involved, and they had actually NBA guys coaching that like current players. Uh, or I should say not both, but there was current players there. Before it'd be like somebody that hadn't played in 10 years is coaching the celebrity
Yeah.
game. Like no one watch it.
I
It was
mean,
on a different channel. You
the
couldn't
two
find it.
coaches were Giannis and the Utah owner, right?
It was D Wade and the Utah owner, but
Okay, and
Giannis was coaching the Utah owner's team,
oh,
and D
okay,
Wade was actually coaching his team. Yeah,
okay,
the Utah owner he was just there, but it was
hmm
his team that Giannis was coaching.
yeah,
Um, and Lindsey Vonn was coaching it too. And D Wade was I think he was coaching his own team. But then Richard Jefferson doing his thing was great. Him being ref and player and commentator was great. The women's players were great. Oh, Lisa Leslie was there. She was coaching one of the teams too, I think, helping
hmm
coach. Yeah, so it was just a lot more going on that was good. I think the celebrity game to me that was the best one I had seen in a while, and it was more celebrities that I recognized. It didn't seem like they were reaching for
hmm
celebrities this time. Like I looked at the names and I'm like, oh, I kind of know all these people. Um, didn't seem like, oh, we're just getting some guys we're just gonna turn into a celebrity this just for the game. Like so,
Yeah, man.
it was
Friday was
fun.
just a good fun night of basketball.
It was. It was. That was probably that was one of the best Fridays I remember in a long time. I won't say it's the
hmm
best ever, but definitely one of the best I remember for a while.
hmm
Mhm. Let's go to Saturday. Normally, the highlight of All Star weekends, the skills challenge, the 3-point shootout, the dunk contest.
I don't care about the skills
Now,
challenge at all. Do you have any thoughts?
skills challenge sucks. One, I do have some thoughts, and they're quick. Number one, Greek Freak shouldn't be the only one that's allowed to be in there with his brothers, especially if he's hurt. And I know he didn't do it because Holiday took his spot, but like there's other. brothers in the league. We have the 3 holidays. Um, there's more families in the league we can do for the skills challenge. I'm not really big on the teams of three. Um, like that's getting a little bit too much to me. The shooting thing is way out of bounds now because before you used to only have to make like one 3-pointer the whole skills challenge before. Now you got to make a bunch of jump shots, and these guys, the point of the skills challenge is for you not really to have to shoot shots. The 3-point contest is its own contest. Skills challenge was just for skills. Not that shooting isn't a skill, but it was more for ball handling skills. It's more like the point guards competition. Maybe I'm biased in that, but like I just don't really get the Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith Jr. and any of the Antetokounmpos. I mean, no one's ever accused them of being overly skilled players. So like,
Bro, I
it's
get it
just
in Milwaukee.
yeah, I
But
get that at home.
here, what the
Yeah,
fuck? Like,
yeah. It was just
I'd
the
rather
skills
have, bro,
challenge.
I'd rather have one of the Utah players with his two brothers that don't play basketball on there.
Me too. That would
Like,
actually be interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just
Or
strange
like
to
I
me.
would
Like,
rather if they were gonna do a like I would rather them do like world teams. Like in the like okay, if it was just the Antetokounmpos, maybe they were Team Greece. Then we had a Team Africa of like other guys. Then we had a Team Argentina of guys like that. I would rather it be something cool that talked about the league, that like showed
yeah.
something cool about the league. Not, I mean, the third Antetokounmpo was like is barely in the league. No offense to him, but like he's bringing a G League guy just because he's somebody's brother to play in the thing is like
Again, not at home. Like, it's so bizarre.
yeah, and then having a team of rookies. We just had the rookie challenge, the Rising Stars. Like, it's their thing. We don't need a team of rookies in the skills challenge. Why?
To your
It was
point,
just
like,
weird.
to your point, we what we got coming up is essentially the skills challenge for shooters.
Yes.
And yet you got more shooting in the skills challenge than ever before. Like, what the fuck? I'm not asking for point guards, but let's really see who can handle the fucking basketball.
Yeah. I
Rather
didn't
than like
mind
some
when
of
they went
these.
to that. You remember when they went to the tournament of the guards versus the bigs?
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. That was cool because it was
Initially,
really
yeah.
about who had the best skills. Now is I don't even really know what it's about. It's like who's hot that night kind of thing. And it's whack. So I think the skills challenge they need to work on that some more. Of all the things for the whole weekend, that's probably what they need to work on the most. So um
And I
everything
feel
else
like
though,
there's a lot of potential to like make fun mini games out of it.
I do too. And
I
I'll
don't know.
say
It's
this, I will say this every year until they bring it back. That the shooting stars is the perfect challenge to actually bring back. That was fun with the one legend, one WNBA player,
yes,
one
that was
NBA
great.
player.
Great. A
And
great
actually,
like
that
mini
would have been
game.
great. That would have been great in what they have as the skills challenge. That would have been perfect. Yo,
Like
give me
half court shot could be a skill.
yes, yeah. That was the coolest one. Now WNBA is at the top is bigger and better than it's ever been. Now it's like the perfect time to bring those kind of people into this.
100%.
But it is what it is. So that's that. That's how I feel about that. I think the shooting stars kind of mold in what they do as the skills challenge would be perfect. But how they have the skills challenge now is whack. Ever since the sponsors changed, it used to be what Taco Bell skills challenge, Sprite dunk contest. I don't remember who did the 3-point contest. But ever since that changed, everything has been whack.
It's been on the decline.
It's bad. Sierra Mist is the new we lost Sprite and got Sierra Mist. How many times I was in a
I would
restaurant and you asked for Sprite?
never at a store look at Sierra Mist and Sprite and get Sierra Mist over it. Like never. I would never do that in my life.
I can't tell you how many times I've been at a restaurant, be like, I'll take a Sprite. You're like, oh, we have Sierra Mist. Never mind. I'll drink water.
Yeah, it's just water. I'm good.
Yeah. It's a Sierra Mist's
No.
defense. It's Starry now, their new drink. I haven't had it because they don't have it where I live, but it's their new drink that they're using to sponsor I believe it was the skills challenge that Starry did. It did one of them, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. 3-point contest. Damian Lillard won, beat Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield in the finals. Um, I liked it. It was pretty exciting. Didn't know who was going to win, but everyone kind of choked in the last round. But Damian is clutch, so I wasn't surprised. Uh, the 3-point contest.
It's
I think
easy.
because there's so little to change it
Yeah,
is
it's
probably
just
going to
too
be
it's too easy to fuck up.
yeah, yeah. So like I like the extra balls, the longer balls for the extra point. That's cool. It wasn't a lot of change, but it was a good change because guys shoot out there. It gives guys like Damian Lillard an advantage. Um, Steph, Trey Young, guys like that shoot from that far away,
Yeah.
so it makes sense.
And they
But I
found
thought it
they
was cool.
they they always tend to put together a really good roster
Yeah, crop is
for
good.
who's in it. They always have like a couple of the premier guys and then a couple of
Hmm.
like guys who are like shooting the ball really well.
Yep.
And then a couple of shooters that you like a Huerter who you kind of know is going to be competitive.
Yeah.
They do a great job, man. I mean, it's easy.
And it
There's really nothing
separates
to
the
mess
scorers
up.
from the shooters. Separates the
100%.
scorers from the shooters.
Mhm.
Like Tyler Hero shot really bad in this. It's like, oh yeah, well, he's really a scorer. He's not really a shooter like Buddy is.
Right.
Like it separated it, and I always think that's pretty cool to see. Um,
But that's kind
so
of,
yeah,
and
dude.
then guys like Halliburton really shine because he's really not a
Yeah,
spot up threat, but you could tell he's improved it so much.
yep, yep. That's always fun to watch too. Yep,
Hmm.
yep. Um, all right. Congrats to Damian Lillard. Um, dunk contest. Uh,
There's really only one name that
Worth
needs to
mentioning.
be
Yeah,
discussed.
yeah. You've been a fan of his for a long time now, right?
Right. Yeah, man. I've
And
I've liked he's been a fun player to watch.
And if there's ever been someone in history whose destiny it was to win the dunk contest, it was Mac McClung. Because he's been practicing for the dunk contest since he was in like 8th grade. Not
Yeah.
literally, but basically. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been waiting for this for a long time. Similar to Zion.
And I don't know if it's maybe part of it is how trash the other guys were or how average the other guys were.
Hmm.
Um, but he was like he technically was really impressive. Like his dunks were
Yeah.
really unique yet really simple. They were really exciting. He executed all of them flawlessly.
Didn't miss a dunk.
I mean, he wasn't phased by the arena or the lights. How many phenoms have they had come in? How many guys have they had? I'll never forget James White and his China footage of just godly through the legs dunks, godly
Yeah.
East Bays. And then he
Even
came into the fucking weekend and couldn't finish a single dunk.
and he even won the college dunk contest
Yeah,
when he was at Cincinnati, right?
there was tons of footage of him just being insane.
Yeah.
And then he came in and was it was too much pressure, couldn't finish a dunk, and it was
Yeah.
embarrassing. How many
It was
guys have they
embarrassing.
had like Jeremy Evans, who granted he was a good like contest performer, but he was like a
Hmm.
one highlight guy.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
McClung was so impressive. Honestly, bro, to me, this was so impressive. He killed this narrative that like it has to be John Morant in the dunk contest. Like, it
Hmm.
has to be Zion Williamson in the dunk contest for it to be good.
Right.
Clearly,
Because
that's not the case.
I do think I think he killed the narrative in a way that the league doesn't have to force those guys in there.
Yes.
Like if they get in there, it's cool, and we still want to see it, but it doesn't have to be so forced from the league like people act like it is. Like the league, people are like, oh, the league has to work to get these guys in there. No, like
No.
there's other guys who can go in there that actually want to be in there, that actually want to win. Like um, yeah, I'm with you on that. You're right. Mac did a great job. It was very, very impressive. And the thing is, it was probably more impressive for people who haven't seen his clips for the last
Yeah.
10 years, like
Yeah.
we have. We've been seeing his clips forever. I've seen him do worse stuff, more vicious stuff than he did
I
in
mean,
the
bro,
dunk contest, but
how many casuals were like, yo, who is this?
there was a lot.
I
There was a
mean,
lot.
that first dunk, like every casual had their like eyes like this. What the hell did I just see?
Yeah. There's very few people in the world who could do that dunk that he did, that first one. And that
Dude,
was
that
probably the
first
best
one
one
was
of the
just
night.
he set the tone.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a, I mean, he just had a great set of dunks. For all
Hmm.
four of his dunks were fantastic. Um, Everybody else's, man, were pretty bad, to be honest. Pretty bad. Jericho Sims, we got to talk about it, man. Did you look it up?
Oh yeah. Why do we have to
Jericho,
talk
man.
about it?
Well, this is the only thing I'm going to say. I understand that you play basketball late. Someone like just saw him at the rec center, like jumping over stuff, like, yo, you should play basketball. And he did. That's true story. I mean, at least I heard that, right? I'm
Yeah.
not joking about that. I heard that. But like it's okay to get like a mentor for the dunk contest. Like get someone that helps you with what you're gonna do. Because I'm noticing that more and more guys come in and they don't talk to past champions. They don't like get any uh any advice on like dunks or anything like that. So they just come in there and just use their own creativity. And if you haven't been in a dunk contest before or won one, it's hard to come up with the kind of stuff that's exciting enough to win. So
Yeah.
the gimmicks were better than last year and the year before, but still were kind of rough. They
I
were
just
rough.
think the league, to your point about Diallo, that you told me how he
Yeah,
doesn't really get the credit for kind of being the first one.
yeah,
Um, but I think, like, honestly, man, the league really could deep dive the G League and find so much talent for this.
they could.
And to me, like, McClung brought the excitement for the contest back.
Hmm.
And I don't think it'll always be G League guys. I think there'll be Zach Levine, like Aaron Gordon, guys like that will come around eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Zion was healthy this year, he would have been in it.
Yeah, I think
You,
Zion, a full healthy year, I think Zion will give us a show.
yeah, definitely. And that's what I mean. That's what we want. We want to see Zion in there eventually. He's another guy we've been waiting since he was in seventh grade for him to be in the NBA dunk
Yeah,
contest.
yeah.
And
So
I think he'll do it if he's healthy. And yeah, I think a lot of guys. This year has been a really bad injury year. Obviously, the All-Star game was affected by all the injuries, so I think this was a year a lot of guys were hesitant. But yeah, I do think I don't think that we're at the point where we're not going to be able to get anybody. I
yeah,
don't know
man,
if Ja was 100% in the All-Star game. He didn't look like it.
it didn't look like it. But again, my thing is I just hate that so many casual basketball fans are like the contest can only be good if Ja or Zion. Like, no, bro, there's so much
No.
athletic talent in basketball.
Yeah.
And we saw it on full display.
And honestly, even the guys who have won, we didn't like. No one would have thought Aaron Gordon was going to be like as good of a dunk contest contestant as he was
I
until he
know.
was in it. So is it
Zach
like that
Levine,
should
we
be
kind of
enough
knew.
to? Yeah, but I don't think people knew he would be doing the stuff that he did. Like I knew he could jump
No,
from the
yeah,
free
of
throw
course
line.
not.
Yeah, I knew he had that. I didn't know he would all the other wild stuff that he did behind the back and that easy and all that stuff. I didn't know it was that easy, but yeah, like I think guys will surprise people. It just hasn't been the right guys yet. And it happens. There's down years all the time. I mean, Brent Barry won a dunk contest.
I know.
Like they talk about the down years now. Brent Barry like, could only jump from far away. That was like his only
Yeah.
good dunk. It was a long dunk, but there's down years and it comes back. There's gonna be another Vince
And I
Carter-esque
feel like
Zach
we should
LaVine-esque.
kind of focus on the contestants more. Like if these guys
Hmm.
come in and suck and there's no creativity, like that's the NBA did a poor job finding players.
Yeah, yeah,
Because to your point, Mac McClung has been preparing for this for like a decade and a half.
yeah. I mean, as soon as he was in it, and I knew it was other guys who aren't really like experienced dunkers. Oh, it's a wrap. It was like, yeah, he's been preparing for this. He's got years ahead of these guys on a dunk
Yeah,
contest. He's
man.
been
And
preparing the wildest dunks.
everybody that I talk to that like knows basketball enough to know McClung obviously doesn't watch Houston Rockets, and yet they all are trying to tell me that it was going to be Kenyon Martin Jr. winning it.
Yeah, see,
I was
doesn't
like,
make any
man,
sense.
that's such a casual take.
Right. I love Kenyon Martin Jr., but nah, I thought he had a shot. He obviously had the second best shot. I
Yeah,
mean, by a long shot to me, but nah, Mac. It's I think the other thing a lot of people who don't play basketball or haven't dunked before don't understand. Like these guys don't practice the wildest dunks all the time. Like those guys who can dunk well, like LeBron doesn't go in the gym and practice between the legs dunks.
no,
He
no.
never does. I'm sure he can and he has done it before, but he's not like in there trying to test his limits every time he's in the gym.
No,
Mac
no.
McClung's been testing his limits since he was in high school. No, a lot of these other guys don't be out there trying to test all this stuff and jump over people and everything just to see what happens. Like, that's not a thing like basketball players do. We're actually working on our game. We're not in there just trying to see, oh, let me see if I can go under both legs today. Like no one unless you're going to a dunk contest. So um anyway, it was a rough one, but Mac did a great job. The rest of them uh,
I loved seeing all the OGs just like shocked.
yeah, that was cool.
Like just
That was
everybody
cool.
was so surprised at how flawless I was too. I didn't think he would just come in there and just off rip dominate, but that was really impressive.
I was hoping someone else gave him
Yeah. I thought he'd
some kind
steal
of
the show
competition.
in like a final. Like if it came down to dunk v dunk and Mac brought
Yeah,
out something crazy that we'd never seen,
yeah,
I didn't think he'd step on in 3 steps and he's showing us a dunk we've never seen before.
yeah. I mean, the first dunk was the best dunk of the competition to me.
I didn't
I mean,
expect that at all.
the other ones are really tough, and no one else in the dunk contest probably could have did them, but they weren't like I've seen him done before, and I think I might have seen the one he did done before too, but not that easy, not that quick, not that clean. Like you said, it was just
All like no struggle to finish it, to execute
yeah,
it. I
it was perfect.
crazy.
It's perfect. Um, People are hating on the Trey Murphy, um, Jose Alvarado dunk, but I liked that a lot. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Um, Kenyon Martin Jr. just could not get a good alley oop from anybody. Not from like his dad gave him a bad one. Um, what's my man's name? Man, I can't remember his name right now. Tate, Jay Sean Tate. He gave him a terrible one to start the show. Um,
Yeah, bro. He was
so
set
that
up
was
for
rough.
failure.
Yeah, he was set up for failure. Houston has no point guards on the team, so should
It
brought John
showed.
Wall out
It
there.
showed. If John Wall's
Yeah,
even in Houston.
yeah. So
Oh man.
Yeah, so and Jericho, I don't want to say anything about Jericho. Just him being in there in the next jersey doing what he did was atrocious.
Yeah, the Knicks
Anyway,
jersey was tough. Extra tough.
so shout out to Mac McClung, man. It wasn't the worst Saturday, but it wasn't a great one either.
No, but
Um,
McClung is cemented himself with like a top 5, top 10 all-time performance.
yeah, yeah, especially for a first time.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Finally, the All-Star game itself. This might have been the worst night of the weekend for me, to be honest.
Might? Might?
Oh my gosh. It was so bad, man. It was so bad. I don't even know where to start.
First of all, the fucking draft, the all that shit with the drafting the reserves, drafting the starters. I love it.
I like
Great.
that.
I love the chemistry. I love how fun it was. I mean,
I
obviously
loved it.
Giannis a clown. LeBron was ready. LeBron the fucking lead GM mode immediately.
I loved the anticipation of who they were gonna get. Um,
Bro, honestly, LeBron drafting he picks guys like we would making a custom team.
yeah, he does.
Like ever
He
since the
does.
All-Star game has started drafting guys,
Yeah.
my respect for Lee GM has just skyrocketed.
He does pick good teams. He definitely does.
I love his combination of players.
Yeah.
But it took so fucking long.
It did take a long time. Yeah. Needing a
For
break between the reserves and Ernie asking them their strategy. I didn't need all that. Just like Ernie just say, all right, who's next? Let's just do it. And them doing it was cool. I mean, that would have been cool. I like that the kids got to take a picture with them. That was nice. The jerseys, you don't know which jersey's going to be. That was cool too. All that was fun. I did like that. I like them
yes.
drafting right before the game. That was cool.
Yes. I hope they keep doing that. But like if we're adding a new preparatory event, like maybe we should start a little earlier.
Hmm. I agree.
I mean, the game started at like what, 8:30, 9 o'clock?
Yeah. And they had a bunch of great. Didn't they have like a BB Rexa versus Wiz Khalifa battle? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
The song battle.
I didn't even see that. I'm not. Why the fuck were they doing that?
Was that I don't know if that was Saturday or Sunday, but yeah, they had like a head to head. Wiz Khalifa went up there performed. BB
No,
Rexa
it's Saturday.
performed,
I had to catch up on everything, so that it could have been on Saturday.
and then they like got to see whose fans. It was an all-star music battle. They called it.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah, I
remember
don't
what
need
day
that.
it was, but I was like, why are they doing this before the all-star events? But
I really don't need that. It's
but anyway,
basketball. Okay, we're here for basketball. Like you can, I don't mind Post Malone coming out before for a couple songs. Like, all right,
oh, that's right. That happened in between. What didn't it? Yeah,
wasn't that before the All Star game or not?
yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was after the draft, but before the game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which I was cool with because they also did need time to, you know,
Right.
pro- there was no strategy in the game, obviously, but I was thinking the time, oh, they need time to see like what the position's gonna be, the rotations. I get that, but they obviously didn't use any of that. They were just down there just goofing off, I guess. But
Yeah.
photo op.
And Luca, by the way, confirmed my point because when he was mic'd up and they asked him about the new draft and stuff, he literally said it was a ton of fun, but it was so long,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I'm sure it fucked up their warm-ups.
Hmm.
Considering they had the long, I'm sure they warmed up and had that long event, or maybe warmed up after, not for as much as they probably wanted.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the game starts. And honestly, they played like we didn't get enough time to warm up.
They played terrible. And not only did they play like they all shot bad to start, except for LeBron, basically. Like, I mean, there was I don't even know, man. It felt like just layup lines in the game, basically.
Bro,
They weren't
these
playing any
guys,
defense.
like, we can play fake defense better. Like, y'all been playing basketball your whole lives. I know you know how to make a guy make maybe 5 dribble moves before he gets past you.
I know. We had one-on-one moment and it was whack. Like I was hoping we'd get more one-on-one moments. Kyrie couldn't even really truly be Kyrie if you're not playing defense. Like he can't do dribble moves against the air. Like we're not gonna. That's
I
no fun to
know.
watch.
Everyone hit like a really pretty hezzy and they were fucking getting a layup.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, dude,
One
I
in and
do
out
that
and it
at
was a
LA
layup.
Fitness when I'm 5 games in with the same nine other guys and they're all dead.
Yeah,
They're all dead because we've played too many games. Like, that's what it looked like. Guys are too tired to play defense, couldn't bother to jog back, barely could bother to walk back.
right.
I mean, it was like so embarrassing. Like, y'all know there's a stigma of they don't take the fucking All-Star game seriously. Like, it's a joke because they don't really play for real. I mean, honestly, in the first quarter, it looked like they forgot the rules.
I know. That's why I said it. It didn't even seem like they were playing the different games.
I know, like the announcers keep reminding us that like the end of the quarter, whoever's winning wins for their charity. And
You
none of
notice
them like moved in any capacity like they were trying to win a quarter.
none of them, not even close.
And it
Didn't look
just
like
set
they
the
were trying
whole
to win anything.
and that set the whole vibe of the defense never picked up.
Right.
That's what I've never seen that before. I've never seen them just like never pick up any kind of energy.
Yeah, me either. I think this probably had the least amount of energy in an All-Star game that I've seen from the
Like,
players.
bruh,
They all came out there lackadaisical. No one got any lift on their jump shots.
yeah.
Dunks were weak. Most of the dunks were weak. Off the backboard ones were cool, but no one could throw good alley oops. It was just
Can y'all
like
take the
you know,
Saturday practice seriously at least? Even the highlights look trash.
other practice.
No, I'm just saying, like you
Oh, the
said, nobody
highlights of
could
the
throw
game.
a lob, nobody could
Right.
fucking like nobody had any chemistry. Like
Yeah.
y'all didn't practice anything on Saturday to like give the fans some show.
They weren't even really in the good enough defense to run a play. Like they were just standing there. They weren't even matched up well enough for them to get a good playoff.
Bro,
So
it was so embarrassing. Like they couldn't even bother to fake it.
I know that was embarrassing.
Bro, it's
Embarrassing as a
this.
fan.
Remember how disrespectful we felt what Jimmy Butler did a
Yeah.
couple
By
years
just not
back,
playing.
like acting like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
This was like the entire All-Star collective didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that shit really like, man, it was demoralizing.
Nobody scored except De'Aaron Fox. That was kind of whack. I mean, it was just like the thing is, you know how like 2K and the basketball games, it's everyone's all the NBA players' stats are like exaggerated for like the sake of the video game.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see at the All-Star game. Like, okay, we know we all like Kyrie's ball handling. We want Kyrie to just turn it into an and one show if he can. Yes, we all like John Morant's dunks. We only like John Morant's dunks. I don't want to see John Morant taking any jump shots. Clear the lane, let John Morant dunk. We like everyone thinks De'Aaron Fox is the fastest player in the league. Why don't we press De'Aaron Fox one time and just let him go coast to coast and show us how fast he is? Like that's what we want to see in the game. But like, bro, throwing alley oops to Siakam, um,
Jokic.
everything Jokic did, everything NB did. It was just like, I thought it was cool. DeMar DeRozan came in. First thing he did was do elite footwork, fadeaway, mid range. That's what we want to see. We want to see what you do best with everyone doing what they do best. We don't really want to see everyone do stuff they don't do in the games. Like I know they think that that's cool, but we don't want to see that. We wanted to see Lillard take half court shots. We got that. That was great. Tatum and Brown was great. Um, Donovan was pretty cool. I wish Donovan dunked a little more, but that was everything he did was cool. But like everybody else was like they just like forgot they were supposed to give us a show, basically. Too.
That's yeah, 100%, man. It wasn't a show.
It
Like,
wasn't.
bro, again, I when I'm tired and pick up basketball, I play fake defense. And I promise you, I'm more convincing that I'm trying to play real defense than these guys were. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you can't sit and make Kyrie hit like a double or triple move to get past you. I'm not asking you to fucking like make sure you cut him off. But
Yeah, once
like
he
you
gets the
said,
step, that's when you let him go.
like you said, bro, all I saw from Paul George and Kyrie, Hezzy blow by. Like, are you kidding me?
I definitely wanted some more from Paul George. Paul George
Paul
acted
George
like he
kept
couldn't
trying
even
to get
play well at
creative,
all.
and nobody wanted to see shit.
Yeah.
Like
No one
just
wanted to
go,
get
bro. You don't got
embarrassed,
to
I
do all
guess.
that. You're already by me.
I hated that. I hated that a lot. And
Like,
I get
bro,
it. I mean,
amount of times somebody snatched back, and the guy was like, fuck it, like I'm done playing.
yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. You ever play 21 with like too many people out there?
Yes.
But you have to go out there and you have to make sure he doesn't get an open shot.
Yes.
That's all we want. Just go make sure he doesn't get an open shot. When he drives, there's 30 people in the paint already. There's like 6 people in the paint already. Go for it. Like, at least just go out there and make sure there's nothing easy or nothing wide open.
Yeah.
But
At least like in the second half.
and I thought they were gonna pick it up in the second half, and it actually was kind of worse, to be honest.
It was worse, bro. The first like 5-10 minutes are always disgusting. Like it's always
Yeah,
get the home guy like 5 to 10 points,
yeah.
feed maybe somebody else, get the goats involved. And then we kind of slowly like there'll be a competitive possession here. A guy will go for a block there. A guy will steal a weak move, and all of a sudden, like very slowly, the intensity picks up.
Hmm.
Even in games I've hated, there's some level of intensity.
Yeah,
And here it got
yeah.
worse.
You know what? You know what I think is one issue of it. One issue with where the All Star game is that the East and West thing doesn't matter, and I think that now that they draft that like before, if you were playing at Utah, they were kind of the West team was like the home team in a way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, the defense thing in the background would come on for the West. I mean, like for the when the West is on defense, like it, you kind of had the feeling that the crowd was cheering for their home region. And now it's just like, who are they cheering for? If they're cheering for anyone at all, you know,
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't even
there's like
like
no
try to
pride in it.
make Markkanen look good.
No, they didn't.
They were just like, we just won't get back. You can catch as many lobs as you want. We won't really close out, even though you've been sniping the league all year.
Yeah,
Like, you've been making shots in people's eye, but we won't contest because that's a lot of work.
right.
It was just gross, man. It was honestly disrespectful.
And to me, when they were drafting, I think I would have picked Markkinen first. Like I know even if I didn't want him on my team, like I think Giannis and LeBron should have agreed to say, "Yo, Markkinen is the home guy. Let's just botch the first pick. Go ahead and pick Markkinen. I won't pick who you want that second pick, and let's just do it like that." Like Markkinen deserves some kind of praise for the hometown. It was just like he wasn't even like he was nothing.
Yeah. They were just giving him like
So
charity baskets. I'm like, dude, this is not Like, feed him the ball and actually, can we see him go to work? Bro,
Yeah, I mean, he gives you guys
they used to
buckets in the regular
feed
season.
Pau Gasol, who was the most boring big man, all-star big man ever. They used to feed Pau Gasol in the mid post. Go to work. Like, it's your spot. Nobody can stop you here. Like, get your dime, get your floater, anything.
Yeah.
Here, it's just like layup lines, man, from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it was gross layup lines. Honestly,
It
bro, if
was.
the layup lines weren't gross when you watch elite college or elite AAU teams warm up and they're fucking windmilling everything, I promise you it doesn't look gross.
I know.
But the fucking NBA All-Stars, the greatest players on the fucking planet, couldn't make a layup line look good.
Yeah, and the thing is that sometimes they were just laying it up when they should have did some kind of dunk, some reverse, some 360. They were just laying it up and just dropping it in like for points. But for what?
The
What's the
fuck?
part I
I
didn't really
know.
get?
DeRozan out
Yeah.
there scooping everything. DeMar, you used to
Lamar has
murder people.
underrated bounce, very underrated bounce.
Paul
Yeah.
George laid. I mean, watching 6'9" guys lay the ball out is just sick to me.
Paul George is the only player out there who's done a 360 windmill in game and is doing layups.
God, Paul George, man. Even in a gross layup line, you could just tell how elite he is.
Yeah.
But man, he didn't look good.
And to your point, like the draft sucks if they're not gonna play hard. Like, what's the point of drafting good players if we get to the game and you guys aren't playing hard? Because, like
Yeah,
you
I
said,
know.
LeBron drafted better than Giannis to me too. But Giannis's team won because they're the only guys. They were just playing a little,
They
a little bit
ran a
harder.
little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit harder. And Giannis didn't even play. So yeah,
It was really demoralizing for me, man. I'd never been this like I'd never felt like it was a chore to get through the All-Star game before.
this one definitely was. It was a
Bro,
chore to
even in
get to
the
the fourth quarter. I was hoping the
like
fourth quarter picked up, and it didn't.
even in the blowouts, it's fun to watch some of the reserves go off. Like,
Yeah,
I remember I used to have fun. Like, Westbrook would randomly heat up and it would be a lot of fun. I
yeah,
think he won an MVP one time because he just like wouldn't cool off shooting the ball.
yeah. He did.
We couldn't even get that.
No, he didn't. We didn't.
This sucked, man. This really sucked. And this isn't an NBA has to go in and look at the format again, like see if we need draft. Nah, bro, these guys didn't give a fuck. If
It
you
was all
can't
on the
find
players.
incentive, if you can't find some kind of incentive, which I thought charity was as good as it could get,
Yeah,
but if they don't care, if them being healthy, I guess is more important than playing in a game that is like spreads the game of basketball,
hmm
then it is what it is. It's the same
They
shit with the
asked.
dunk contest. These guys don't want to do it. We'll find Mac McClung to put on a show.
They asked. Guy, Gilgis Alexander, SGA about how to make it better, and he basically just said money talks. Like I was paraphrasing, but he basically was like, "We just need more money." Or like we need more incentives to do it. But like,
Bruh, y'all contracts are sick.
yeah,
The
and
fuck?
you
And I
try
know
coming up
they
with the
give do
incentives.
they not give bonuses like actually being an all-star, making all NBA? Like there's bonuses tied to that.
There is, yeah. I'm not sure if it's all star. Maybe for some guys. I know all NBA for a lot of guys is bonuses. Yeah,
I just, man, like Luca really, and they mic'd him up, and he kind of told him like, man, I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, dude,
bro.
at
You play
least
85
lowering.
games a year. How many times has Luca hurt somebody?
I just these guys play all the time, train all the time. Like, why do you have that mindset of I'm gonna get hurt?
I don't know, and I forgot who it was, but they were like, they go to the summer league and play all summer for free. We're playing in the summer league with guys who don't even play in the NBA. But you're not going to play. LeBron played much harder in the Drew League than he did in the All Star game, and only
which
played first half. But
which just
you know,
like that right there is just sick.
and you're playing against all other players. It's not like no disrespect to them because I obviously don't want any problems. But it's not like the Morris twins are out there. It's not like Grayson Allen is out there. It's not like Jake Crowder is like. It's not like guys that are about to fight if you foul them are out there. It's just a bunch of NBA players. Like it's other stars. You foul them hard, they get fouled hard. Didn't Kobe almost broke his nose in the game? Then
D
D Wade
Wade
fouled
literally
Kobe,
broke his nose. D Wade broke
broke
Kobe's
his
nose.
in the game, and these guys are worried about getting hurt.
And Kobe cooked him like a week later with a fucking mask on, by the way.
Let's finish the game.
And he finished the fucking All-Star game.
Yeah. So it's like
I just it's crazy to me, man. Especially the young new guys like Luca, like SGA, all these guys. Like, what do you mean? I don't want to hurt anybody.
yeah, I don't know. That's bizarre. That's a weird thing to even say. Weird thing to even say. Um, Anthony Edwards. I mean, he went out there and played pretty hard, but
He
he
had a
still
good
didn't do
quote
that
about
much.
the load management stuff. I think right
I
before the
like that.
All-Star game.
I hope he keeps that. I doubt it, but I hope he does.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I doubt it.
But his
Unfortunately.
track record's been really good so far.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, yeah.
Knowing
He's
Minnesota, hopefully that could last because they're not going to take care of him.
right, right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the second half of the season. Um,
I would call it the last quarter of the season at this point.
yeah, because All Star breaks a little bit later than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Season starts a different time too. So, um, oh, we have to talk about the
The
buyout market
Clippers.
too.
The
Yeah,
Clippers.
Clippers just picked up Russell Westbrook. The Bulls just picked up Patrick Beverly, and the Heat just picked up Kevin Love. Let's mainly just talk about the Clippers because that's the biggest impact probably. Uh, Westbrook, man, they lost John Wall, got rid of John Wall, but picked up Westbrook. They're right now in the fourth spot, one game behind the third spot.
They've been rolling. They
They
came
have
into
been
All-Star
rolling.
break rolling.
They did. They did.
And
And I believe
honestly,
their schedule looks pretty good.
and
Mm,
honestly, man, they were rolling the right way.
they were.
Uh, like putting in Terrence Mann and not forcing him to play point guard, just starting him.
Yep.
Doesn't mean he's a
Yep.
point guard. It means he's a good guy to make the extra pass, cut, play defense. Like if if your team moves the ball well, which I talked about countless times that they could do,
Hmm.
sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, all their wings haven't stepped up, but Powell has. Which again, a
Yeah,
lot of
he has.
times for a bench, that's really all you need.
And a lot of their wings just have gotten healthy too. And that was one thing they
Mhm.
needed the most. Powell's finally healthy.
But
You
like
know,
their collective shooting percentage, especially from three, is really good.
yeah,
And a
yeah,
lot of that is because they move the ball well.
yep, it is.
So
Absolutely is.
hypothetically, it seems like Russ would be a great fit.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
But you have reservations.
you didn't add a point guard
You don't consider Russ a point guard?
by
What
default.
do you think he's? Okay, yeah.
Russ is a slasher.
Hmm.
He's really not a point guard. He's just a slasher to me.
Okay,
And that's my problem. Every one of your wings could do that.
right. That's true.
Like, I'm not trying to say that like the Clippers players can get assists and pass the ball as well as Russ. But
Hmm.
again, Russ's strength has been drive and kick.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something they're missing.
And Wall did that for them, and they
When
didn't
he
like
fucking played.
it. Yeah, he did that, and they didn't like it. So
So like to me, you added Russ, but this is a risk you didn't need to take.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's my problem. Like, I'm not mad that you got him because he can help.
Hmm.
But if he helps too much, now you trust him in the playoffs.
Hmm.
If he doesn't help, he creates a distraction because he's sitting on the bench.
Right.
At the end of the day, he's never figured out his turnover problems.
Probably never will.
And yeah, he won't.
That's just something you have to deal with him now.
And again, your chemistry's great. You're rolling. Your drive and kick game is like as good as any team in the league. And you add a guy to do that with low IQ.
Yeah.
And he's a bad
They
defender.
he's become the worst defender right now. They're fourth in the league in points per game, which is fantastic. And
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah. Adding Bones and him and Bones out there at the same time sounds disgusting.
Oh my God. Please no, Ty Lue. Don't do us like that.
It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. But when will it happen in the game is gonna be interesting to see.
I really can't
Uh,
picture that.
yeah. One good thing about this to me is that he has he has history with Paul George, and if anything, Ty can go back to Paul George and get Paul George's input about what's the best way to use him. If he hasn't already, he can now. About the best way to use him and what positions to have him in, when to have him in the game, how to talk to him, all that kind of stuff matters.
100%.
Uh, so that's good, and he was successful with Paul George to an extent. So um,
And my thing is like my one kind of positive outlook on it is I do picture him fitting with when it's Paul George by himself out there,
yeah,
like with some wings and maybe Zubac. Like that's a lineup that Russ could really fit well with.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I think
Because to me,
he would
I
find
always
Zubac really
hate
well, and
I love when Paul George could be like an all-around player all the time.
I agree.
And it's always with the Clippers, it's always like he either has the ball too much or he's only touching the ball to take jumpers or to space the
Hmm.
floor. Like
Hmm.
with Russ, especially without Kawhi out there, I feel like there could be that balance of he's playing off Russ one play, he's playing with the ball the next play. Like I just feel like there's more options there.
One thing they did really well in OKC was their overload. They had an overload offense that worked so well to get Paul George a free side of the court and give Westbrook a free side of the court to drive and make good passes. So that's something I think they could use because they still do it a little bit, but they don't have anyone that attacks the basket as well as Russ,
Yeah.
as well as Westbrook can. So uh, that should be good. It should be interesting. I'm not sure if it'll be successful, but it will be interesting. And at times that it is successful, they're going to beat the crap out of teams.
Hmm.
But
I also
there's going to be a
love the
lot of times
idea
where
of
it's a disaster.
yeah. I really hope they don't slip defensively. But I
Yeah,
also
me too.
like the idea that Zubac and Plumlee get more involved with Russ out there.
Absolutely. Plumlee pick and lob is
That's one thing. They move
definitely
the
going to
ball
happen.
well. They move the ball well, and it's always to open jump shots. They
Yeah.
can't really like sustain getting Zubac layups or getting the guys that are actually driving layups.
Hmm.
And that's why like they look really good because all their guys are shooting in the high 30s right now.
Yep.
I don't want him to get into
I
the playoffs and struggle because they're missing.
will say another thing that makes this Clippers team pretty good for Russ is they move well without the ball. They cut really well. When guys are driving, they go to rebound well, and Russ usually finds those kind of guys. OKC, that was his bread and butter with it was Oladipo for a year. It was Jeremy Grant. It was what was my man's name? Ferguson, Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah.
Was it Terrence?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrence.
Terrence Ferguson for a while. Where those guys, Westbrook would make a move and they would cut at the perfect time. They were right there under the basket. Terrence Mann is a spectacular cutter. He doesn't get
Hmm.
enough credit for how he gets into spots. Westbrook finding him is going to be good. Paul George is a good cutter. Kawhi is a good cutter. So
Powell, too.
I think that, yeah, Powell too. Yep. And Covington's not a bad one too. So I think that they'll find a lot of good slips with them, with Russ. So that should be easy assists. Um, and
Yeah.
Russ just takes so much attention because he's just so fast, so quick.
Hmm.
Takes up so much attention on the side of the court. They're going to get some good cuts, get some easy buckets.
Yeah, I think transition, there's a lot of things they could do. I just don't
Mhm.
like that they didn't need to take the risk. But there is like several ways. I do think there is upside to it.
I think that for me, it was a low risk, high reward for them, particularly because I mean for Westbrook, for most teams, because Westbrook was already kind of getting benched, so it's not
Right.
like
I do
benching
think
him is
he's not
gonna
at the point where even if you bench him, he'll destroy your chemistry.
exactly, yeah, yeah, because it's not like he hasn't been benched before. Now, if they had gotten him and Westbrook was already starting and was like a best player on a team kind of thing, and then they did this, I'd be like, yo, if it doesn't work, you have no way out. But right now, if it doesn't work, yeah,
Yeah.
bench him. Lakers are benching him anyway.
Yep.
So yeah. Any thoughts on Pat Bev to the Bulls?
It's a good pickup.
Yeah, it's solid.
I mean,
Solid.
it's not
Another
gonna
ball handler.
move. It doesn't move the needle for a team that like can't win games.
He's not a winner necessarily.
Uh, it's not that he's not a winner. Like he just doesn't have enough impact on the actual game.
Right.
Uh, I guess a bad way of saying he sucks. But
No,
he's
you're
a
right.
good like
I'm with you.
the good focus guy, man. Like he makes guys competitive, kind of like what we talked about with the rising stars, like just with Alvarado just fueling people to play harder.
Yeah.
Pat Bev is the same way. Like Levine will get more hyped going off with Pat Bev out there.
Yeah, I think he'll get some of the younger guys, Dasumu and Kobe White, a lot of energy. He'll probably give those guys a
Yeah.
lot of energy too.
It doesn't
Yeah.
fix their fundamental problems, like their basketball problems.
Yeah.
It was the same. It was the same way. And obviously they're different players, but like when they got Dragic last year,
Yeah.
like it was a good pickup, but it doesn't change again your fundamental reasons why you don't win games. You improved the strength. In this case, it's not really a strength. Maybe you improved the locker room. Maybe you improved the team chemistry, but you're still not going to get significant stops against 6'5" or above guys. Which, by the way, 80% of the fucking league is that tall.
Still not gonna get rebounds.
No, Pat Bev doesn't fix rebounding.
Yeah. Um, I have a Bulls analyst I'm trying to bring on the podcast, but I'm trying to make sure that there's a reason to because the Bulls
They're not giving you a
are
lot right
trash.
now.
Exactly. Um, Kevin Love to the Heat.
Honestly, man, I good
Random.
pickup for Miami.
Yeah.
Golden State, really?
Yeah, Golden State's
Couldn't
passing up.
even
It,
couldn't even
Pat
try.
Bev said it was between Chicago and Golden State, but he wanted to go home to Chicago.
again, I don't like Pat Bev doesn't fix whatever. Even in Golden State, he wouldn't fix what they need.
We do
But
literally
but
nothing for
Kevin
Golden
Love is
State.
exactly if Golden State could only have one player to help the problems they've had, like this
Kevin
is
Love
a
would have been
perfect
perfect.
example.
Yeah.
Guy who's gonna take open shots, he'll move the ball. He's a vet. With the way they move the ball, he'll probably look younger.
Yeah.
And like not
Pat Bev
even
would have just been punching more, gotten more punches in on both.
more techs.
Yeah,
No,
they'd
but
be
like
way up in text.
I understand if it's who was it? Miami. Who was the other team? It was one other Philly, right? Philly was the other team that was interested.
In Love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Miami, Philly were like the two. Golden State, I just wanted you in the list.
Yeah, I wonder why he wasn't,
Like, I
why no
don't
one in the
hear,
West wanted him.
I don't hear, and just Golden State in general, I don't hear the interest in available players that will help.
Yeah, I don't hear their name enough at all. I didn't hear them when Terrence Ross was available. I haven't heard them with Barton. I think Barton would even
Jay
help them a little
Crowder,
bit.
hello?
I didn't hear him with Crowder.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
Crowder is another guy, exactly the piece they would need if they could only have one.
Crowder helps anybody's team.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that Steph is gonna be carrying with a backpack.
If he makes it back this year.
Yeah, if he gets back. I don't like it when Clay puts the team in the backpack. Like he's getting back into it, and I like that he's kind of reemerged as a really explosive scorer.
Yeah.
But the team just fucking sucks when he's carrying them.
Yeah, because his inefficiency is like really damaging to the team. If he's not shooting well, it's really bad. Like
Because
it's
then the other guys are like they're doing even less. They're already not contributing, and your volume shooting is making them do even less.
usually everyone's out of position when he shoots. It's usually long rebounds, so it's instant fast breaks.
Bro, the
He's
amount
the
of
best defender on the team too, other than Draymond. So like him not playing defense, not getting back on defense is a disaster. So it's just a lot. A lot goes
it,
wrong when he's.
and it shows like their lack or their ball movement not being as good as it used to be.
Mhm.
It shows, and I give you their Looney. Looney
Yeah,
used to get because they moved the ball so well, he'd score 14 on like 8 really good shots.
yeah,
Now Looney will get the same 10 to 15 rebounds that he used to get, which is always impressive because he's not athletic at all. He'll play great defense all night, which again, impressive because he's not athletic.
yeah.
And he took 3 shots.
Hmm.
And somehow he found like he took a bad shot, which I never saw him do in the past.
Right.
That to me, like, how are you getting Looney less shots? He's just like a fit, like he's a execute the play guy.
Yeah. Should be.
It's a struggle in Golden State to me. I know they're not playing horrible, but we talked about all season how limited this roster was, and now like they've let us down officially.
Yeah.
You kept telling me, I kept trusting you because you kept telling me they got to be active in the buyout market. Like they have to be.
It would be. This is bizarre that they're not.
I know why. I don't
I mean,
understand.
I wouldn't have even hated if they got Westbrook. Like, because at this
Yeah,
point, they
help,
just need help.
help.
They just need whatever it is to figure it out.
Please,
Because, like,
less of the current guys getting bench minutes.
yeah, man. Anthony Lamb being like your go-to bench guy is not it.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all I got for today. You got anything else?
No. I'm excited for these last games because the seed, especially in the West, like
Yeah.
anything could happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't even be able to really predict the playoff teams until like a week or two left in the season.
Yeah. Yeah. The West is tight. The East is getting tighter too. The East
Hmm.
right now, um, is, let's see, second spot is a half a game behind first. Third spot is 3 games. Um, Fourth spot is 5 games. Five spot 7.5. And six is 9.5. I mean, with 25 games left, anything can happen there too, with how it shakes up. And then you got the playing games are all within 3 games of each other, from
Yeah.
10 to 14, basically. So anything could shake around,
Are you nervous
especially
about anybody?
um
If you are, give me one from each conference.
I'm nervous about
Preferably,
Chicago not making the playoffs, if that counts. Not even making the play in.
it's it's looking likely.
And then the West,
I'm gonna be
um
honest.
nervous for
Chicago
New
and
Orleans.
Indiana. Oh, yeah, New Orleans is by default.
Yeah,
They're another
Indiana, what
team.
happened?
Dude, Chicago and Indiana, if they let Washington and Toronto take 9 and 10, they had a disappointing year.
Yeah.
Like I'm not mad
They
if
had a
they
failed
sneak in the
season.
plan. Yeah, if they sneak in the plan, and even if they get cooked, okay, rough year, could have been better, but at least kind of you reached some level of success.
Yeah, and both of those teams are still young. Like, yeah, at least you did
Oh,
something. But
losing your
yeah,
seeds to the Wizards, who are going nowhere as fuck, and then Toronto, who looks horrible playing offense.
Toronto looks really bad. And keep in mind, this is 2 extra spots. 3 years ago, they wouldn't be in the playoffs at
I
all
know, I know.
if they didn't. Or 4 years ago, they wouldn't be in the playoffs at all. So like, they're 2 spots away from the extra spots. So
Really, the
that's
top four
terrible.
in the East, the top four in the East should have no problems meeting in after the first round.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, yeah,
Like I look at the West and the current top six. I could see a picture where any of those teams makes it to the finals.
in the West, the top six, any of them could make it to the finals, you're saying?
Could, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Obviously, for a number of them, it'd be a long. In the East, past Cleveland, none of those teams are significant enough to even go to the conference finals.
I agree. I agree. I think Miami could always surprise somebody and beat somebody in the first round. After that first round, it's a wrap. And none
Yeah,
of the other teams are even, like you said, none of the other teams is going to make it past the second round.
I hope, I hope, I hope Brooklyn and New York find a way to match up. I know I'm asking for a lot. Cleveland would have
That
to
would be crazy.
slip. Cleveland and Philly would have to, you know, slip a little bit, but hopefully.
Well, just one of them. If Cleveland slips and New York slips, they can match up. I mean, Cleveland. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, they both would.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
between Brooklyn and New York. I mean, I'm not sure if either of them will really like stop winning games.
Yeah,
Because
I think they both could. Brooklyn
Brooklyn,
can make it to the second round.
and you think about it,
Brooklyn can
everybody's
make it
going to
to the
be.
Eastern Conference Finals.
You're wow. We'll
Yeah.
get back to that, but my thing is their depth is so crazy that while you look like Philly's going to be managing their health, Boston
Yeah.
managing health, Milwaukee managing health, Cleveland managing, like literally all the good teams are going to be managing health. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of wins to get late in the season.
Yeah. New York and Brooklyn both. I'm sure. I mean, as long as Randall is good, I'm not managing anybody else's health.
I
Everybody
mean,
else can go out there
Brunson
and
either.
play for
Brunson can
me.
play 40 plus too.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't believe Toronto climbed back. Oh,
I can't believe Toronto didn't make any moves. Like, because they're in the play-in purgatory right now. They'll be in the play-in every year unless they do something.
There's no way they don't have an active offseason. There's no way.
Yeah, yeah.
And shout
They
out to
got to do something.
Orlando. 24 wins for Orlando this far in the season. Very, very impressive.
Follow Ben Carroll, man. He's been killing it. Absolutely killing it. The Wagner brothers are great.
Yeah.
They
I
they
haven't seen
they
them
look
a lot.
solid.
I haven't seen them a lot, but their chemistry looks really good.
Yeah, they could get another nice young player, and they could probably do something later on. Really could. Um, yeah, and I was saying the Pelicans. I'm worried that the Pelicans could slip out of the playoffs, and I'm also worried that they're gonna get routed in the first round, and especially if they're not fully healthy, which I just there's no way to count on that now.
Nope.
But if they go and they play like Memphis in the first round, it's over for them.
Yeah, man.
Quick.
Those first two Memphis games, good Lord. That
Yeah,
energy with Jog, going off, Dylan Brooks looking to hurt people. Man.
yeah. And Ja would be going as Zion because the first and second pick. You
Yeah.
already know Ja probably thinks about that, so that'll be a beat down if it happens. I think
hmm
Sacramento versus them would be fun to watch, but yeah, they're close to slipping
Sacramento
out.
is very interesting who they match up with in the first round.
Yeah, that's going to be big for them. But and the other thing about New Orleans, if they're not healthy when the play-in game happens,
Oh, it's
oh, Golden
over.
State's getting them out of here.
Quick. Super quick.
Yeah, first round. Steph won't even play the second half.
Early bedtime. Yep.
Yeah, so that's that's what I'm worried about for them. Because they could easily get bounced out. Minnesota, I don't know what's gonna happen in Minnesota. I don't, you know, I haven't really seen Conley with them yet. I think he's only played one game. I don't really know how
Yeah.
that's gonna work out. OKC, I don't expect to stay there. I think Portland or LA
OKC would be
catches
a very
OKC.
pleasant surprise.
Yeah, if I'm in OKC, I don't even want to stay there. Like let's just go down. Let's use those picks. We got a bunch of picks. Let's rest SGA for the rest of the season. Because what's the point of going to the play-in and getting beat in the first round? What? You know?
Well, you want to see if your young guys are kind of ready for it or kind of show them that they're not ready for it.
Yeah, but it's one game. Like it would be different if it was this playoff series. Like if we were close enough to get to the playoffs, I'm with that. But I don't think they have
Think
enough
about it.
to.
It's not like the playoffs where my realistically my chances of beating a team that's won 50 to 60 games is like really low. But in the
Mhm.
play-in, it's teams that you're not far away record-wise. If I'm OKC,
Yeah,
I look at this pool like, yo, we're just as good or better than all these teams.
yeah,
So to me, unless they're like specifically looking for a better pick, which I wouldn't if I was them, they seem to be finding guys regardless of the pick, regardless of the round. So I'd push for that play-in for that last seed, even if I could get it.
getting the pick, even if they're not going to use it to draft, is still a better trade bait. Getting a good pick. But now, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. It's just if I'm them and I go to the playoffs, I go to the playoffs just like for fun, basically.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get to the finals. You're not going to beat Denver, LA, Phoenix.
But you still
Like
make that like you make that progression so then you have expectations next year.
yeah, that's true.
And that's how you got to climb out of the Toronto purgatory.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see what happens with them. They still have a really good chance of getting another huge, uh, maybe even the first pick. And when forgot his name already. When he comes back next year.
Oh, Chet.
Yeah, when Chet gets back next year. They're gonna be fun next year. Hopefully, I hope they get some TV games next year.
To me, they're fun now.
They are. I mean, they're really fun, but it'll be a different kind of fun. It'll be like they might be a contender kind of fun next year. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
now
excited for
like
them.
they might beat some teams, but yeah. But we'll see what happens. I don't expect them to stay there. I do think Portland or LA will catch them. When Portland gets healthy, um, I think LA is going to start clicking. So I think they'll be close to catching them. They're only 2 games away from catching them now. So that's like a week of games they could catch them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
All
one
right.
team I would give you a surprise that
Oh,
I'm concerned about,
who?
and you probably wouldn't expect this, but now again, we have a quarter left, and Milwaukee
Yeah.
really hasn't been healthy all year.
No, they haven't. Do you think
Like,
they've just been kind of coasting with their health?
nah, I mean, I
I mean,
think
I know
Middleton
Giannis
is,
he really hurt his wrist too.
but that's
Giannis
my
did.
thing is like Middleton's been very slowly getting back into it.
Hmm.
But I actually kind of like him coming off the bench for them. It makes their depth look awesome.
Yeah,
But he's
the Crowder's
oh,
gonna help with that too.
yeah, but he's obviously going to get back to being a starter.
Yeah.
And then now Giannis misses kind of most of your last stretch.
Hmm.
It's not again, they won't be worse than like a 4 seed. But
Hmm.
you get into the playoffs and you struggle to score against Boston. Like I just don't know if you could beat them.
Yeah. I think the only thing about Milwaukee is that other than Middleton, everyone else scores very easily. Like Middleton is the only person on the team that really takes tough shots. Giannis just gets a lot of dunks. He gets threes that guys just back off of him because they hope he shoots it. Um, and all the other guys get spot up shots, spot up threes. I'm not worried too much about them at least struggling to score this time because I do think they will have Middleton and they'll have the guy who will be able to hit some of those tough shots, and they'll have more guys that hit the open shots with Crowder now.
Yeah.
Um, but I see your point, especially if Greek Freak's going to be out for an extended amount of time.
Which he's getting it like looked at, or they just confirmed that he sprained it, I think.
Yeah, and they're going
So
to
which
look at
isn't
it
too
again
bad.
this week. Yeah,
It's not too bad, but I just, in my experience, teams that aren't healthy for the regular season, they they get really sloppy offensively, not having that chemistry,
yeah, they do.
especially when the playoff intensity picks up.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Um,
Bunch of Western playoff games coming up.
I know a lot of matchups. I mean, these West teams really have to start winning because, like you mentioned, from 3 to 13, it's like up in the air. It's only 6 games. That
Are
many
Lakers
team,
at
ten
they're 13, right?
spots. Yeah, they're 14 games behind, and Sacramento's at 3, and they're 8 games behind. That's six. That 6 game difference
Oh
for
man.
11 spots is kind of nuts.
Early pick Lakers stay in that 13 seed.
Nah, I think Lakers are gonna move up. I think they're gonna click. Timberwolves are gonna be out of there. I think
Okay.
they're another team.
I
Like they're gonna go to the playoffs for
I
what?
am very excited to find out how the Western Conference plays out.
Like how close to how it looks right now do you think is gonna be?
I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be close because
Me either. I think
they're
it's gonna be
all just
completely
like a
different.
game away, man. I think the Clippers are going to climb. I think the Clippers could finish second easily.
Phoenix
Phoenix
could
is going
finish
to
second.
climb. Phoenix is going to
Yeah.
climb. I think Dallas is going to click for a stretch. I
Yeah.
don't think Minnesota is going to fall off like you think.
No?
Golden State's a huge wild card. I have no idea what they're going to do.
No idea. Pelicans,
Or
no idea.
Portland could win out or lose out for all I know.
No idea about them either.
And Utah is the type of team to battle up until the final game.
I think Utah would be the type of team to shut it down. Like I said, the
Yeah.
Thunder might have do.
Mm-hmm.
Utah would be like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we're cool. What are we doing?
And they have to because like Clarkson could go nuclear anytime, so you can't risk like playing him in a game you want to lose.
Yeah, Clarkson and Markkinen both could average
Yeah.
30 for like the rest of the
Sexton too, to
season.
be honest. I would sit
Yeah,
Sexton because then the team it's a playoff game if he's out there, like regardless.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we'll be back next week, talk more about this. Um, talk a little more about playoff
Yeah, we'll be
picture.
we'll be focusing in on like what the teams look like in big matchups, especially against the teams they're trying to catch or trying to keep away.
Yeah. Yep. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys next time.